do have editing powers, maybe. The ultimate edit is delete, right?
Yes.
Bill, how you doing? He's maybe his voice ain't on.
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good.
It's 4 o'clock, sir.
Yep.
Let's call the work session of the Isabella County Board of Commissioners to order. Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There was none.
I don't see him yet. I didn't notice that.
Did he call in there?
No. Not that I know.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Green,
Here, I'm in the county building, Isabella County, City of Mount Pleasant, room 225.
Commissioner Engler, Commissioner Jałozinski,
Present, participating from my home in Chippewa Township, Isabella County, Michigan.
Commissioner Horton,
Here, participating from my home residence in Union Township, Isabella County.
Commissioner Marino, Commissioner Swaney,
Here, attending remotely from my residence in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, Isabella County.
and Commissioner Hope.
Here, I'm attending remotely from my home in the city of Mount Pleasant, Isabella County.
All present, Mr. Chairman, except for Commissioner Engler and Commissioner Marino.
Margaret, did anybody call?
No. Not that I know.
Okay. We have a quorum, so moving on. Next item is the approval of the agenda. We have no presentations or special reports in the work session. We have about 16 appointments to boards and commissions today. Quite a few, as usual, on the end meeting. Brings us to committee reports, finance and administration.
Finance Administration's all set, Mr. Chairman. Am I muted? No, I'm good.
Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee.
Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee is all set, Mr. Chairman.
Human Resource and Public Works Committee, Mr. Sweeney.
Human Resources and Public Works Committee is all set, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Hope, any intergovernmental affairs?
Not today, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Margaret, you have one issue on there.
Sir.
Yep. No unfinished business. Under new business, we have a discussion on the organizational meeting and a closed session. To approve the agenda as presented is in order.
So moved, Jałozinski. Support Horton.
Been moved and supported to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? We have an agenda. Hi, Commissioner Engler.
Sorry, I had trouble getting connected today. So this is Frank Engler. I am participating from my home in Deerfield Township, Mount Pleasant, Michigan.
Thank you, Frank. Next item on the agenda is general public comment. Nicole, is there anybody in the room waiting to talk to the board?
Mr. Chairman, there is no public comment at this time. I see no hands raised at this time.
Thank you very much. Move on. We have no presentations or special reports. Brings us to item number 6, appointments to boards and commissions. And what, most of these are all incumbents, which the board generally doesn't have any problem with. But it brings us down to item J. Is there anybody there that folks, appointment on the planning commission for a 3-year term for 3 members to be appointed? There's 2 incumbents, of course, but there need to be another person appointed. Is there any discussion on that?
I do have a question. Mr. Wolf is the manager of Lake Isabella, which probably has its own planning commission. Is that any conflict of interest?
He's,
that may be there?
I mean, he's a member of Isabella County. He can be on the board, but generally speaking, the board is yielded away from people that have their own zoning. I was going to talk a little bit about Kyle Camp. Mr. Rogers didn't reapply, Nathan Rogers, and Kyle Camp applied for him, and he doesn't work for Nathan Rogers or anything. But being District 1 has 5 townships that we actually zone for, it'd be, I think, advantageous to have Mr. Camp on the planning commission. He's got an excellent resume, and he's got a lot of schooling in that. So I tried to call him and I couldn't get through to him. But his application looks good, and I'm just recommending, I can't appoint him, somebody else would have to appoint him to be at least in discussion. His name is Camp Kyle, or Kyle Camp, rather, excuse me. Anybody else?
Yep.
Mr. Jaloginski.
It's probably not going to make too much difference on appointing one of these individuals, but I was looking at the background materials, and both Jeremy Murphy and Tim O'Neill both put down that they're current vice chair of the Parks and Recreation Commission. So
I know that.
don't know if that's must be a mistake on one of the gentlemen.
Any other discussion on that? On item J. Item K is the same way. There's no incumbents there, and it's for 1 member to be appointed to the Planning Commission to complete a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2022. Same Adam Brooks, Kyle Camp, Tim O'Neill, and Silker and Tim Wolf. Hearing no further discussion on either one of those. L and M have incumbents, and N is the only one. There's Thomas Comer and James Waynes, 1 member for the Zoning Board of Appeals, complete a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2022. Anybody have a preference there or know things about these folks? Yeah, Jerry Jaloginski.
I don't really, I think I would prefer the incumbent for the 3-year term. Both gentlemen for both of those items are, I mean, we're going to appoint 1 to 1 and
Yep.
to the other. So perhaps, keeping the incumbent on the longer term.
Right. Sounds good to me. Any other discussion on appointments to boards and commissions?
I have one.
Commissioner Marino.
Yeah, on the fellow.
Would you call in, please? Say where you're at and.
Oh, yeah. I'm participating from my residence in Mount Pleasant in Isabella County.
Thank you, sir. Now, what's your question?
On the guy from Clare, is that guy in the Clare's part that's in Isabella County?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, see, Clare County comes down into Isabella County. It's just like me. I'm the last mailbox out of Clare County, or excuse me, Clare County, but I'm a Farwell address, and I'm almost 10 miles south of Farwell.
Right. I was aware of that, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Yep.
I saw all the Clare addresses on that guy, which I thought he was really qualified too. So thank you.
Okay, moving on then to committee reports, finance and administration. Gentlemen.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, first up, consider accepting and placing on file the November 26, 2020 routine personnel items as presented. Okay. Everything looked fairly straight and forward, nothing out of the ordinary. Let me just pull this up here real quick. All step increases along with one new hire, the public defender's office got their chief assistant public defender position filled, which is a good thing. And I think that brings the entire office now, Margaret, if I'm not mistaken, there are no more openings in that department. Was that a correct statement or not?
Mr. Commissioner, there's an ongoing opening for the investigator.
That's right, the investigator. Yep.
It
Okay.
open, we haven't filled it, but we're just continuing to do what we've been doing, which is to, to contract that out when we need to have an investigator, and we've been not utilizing it very much, actually. So we're good. All the attorney positions are filled.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. Any other commissioners have any questions or comments in regards to this? All right, hearing and seeing none, that will move forward to this evening.
Okay, item number 2 is consider ratifying and placing on file the November 27th, 2020 invoice list in the amount of $59,197.30. The December 4th, 2020 invoice list in the amount of $583,563.55. And the adjustment list dated December 10th, 2020. And on that first invoice list, the big ticket items that show up on the top, small list for this particular time frame. We got our hats bi-weekly payment, Wolverine Power Systems, a CD 911 generator transfer switch that looks like it was replaced and covered by insurance. State of Michigan October pistol permits, and the October circuit court transmittals from the state of Michigan. And the next list is quite lengthy. But there's a couple payments there, one to Clark Construction and one to Integrated Architecture for jail construction services. Those two items, one is $61,000 to Clark and $234,000 to Integrated. Those will come back to our general fund once we secure financing for that project. We got the Verizon wireless charges, credit card charges, consumers energy bill, final payment on the next gen 911 from the state grant that we got for that. The November circuit court transmittals. We bought some laptops for various departments, several public defender appointments, and the WellPath LLC, the monthly medical services for the contract for the Sheriff's Department. That's the medical services for the jail inmates. The State of Michigan November District Probate Court transmittals, and then the McBride Quality Care November Private Agency Youth Services at the bottom there. And then moving on to the December 10th adjustment list, there are the Gordon Food Service early payment discounts that we always see. One invoice mistakenly paid sales tax, so that had to be reduced. And then one invoice decreased due to the previous balance already having been paid. So any questions from any of the commissioners on any of those invoice lists or the adjustment list? Yeah, Chairman Green.
The Orkin pest control, we had to have something cleaned up, Margaret, or I see we overpaid them or decreased at 128.84, but it says Orkin pest control on it. I'm on the December
Right.
10th, 2020 adjustment list.
We Or we have a regular routine with ORC and pest
Oh, you do?
control at Commission on
Okay.
Aging.
I
Yes.
just never seen it on the,
That's because generally it is entered correctly. So this time the invoice was decreased because part of the previous balance had been paid.
Oh.
So what happens is department heads or their staff put into the BSNA system the invoices, then they approve them, then it comes to the administrator controller's office and we review them again. So sometimes we catch the fact, oh, wait a minute, that was part of that was already paid last time or whatever. So that's what that is.
thank
It's
you.
a catch. It's a good thing. Not a catch for the pests. I don't want to confuse.
That is a good thing.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, hearing and seeing none, that item then will move forward to tonight's agenda.
All right, next up, consider entering into the airport joint operations and management agreement effective January 1st, 2021, in the annual amount of $5,000 and authorize the chairman of the Board of Commissioners to sign the same. This is an agreement that looks like it will be for the joint operation agreement for this between the city of Mount Pleasant, Isabella County, Charter Township of Union, the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe, and Middle Michigan Development Corporation. These 5 entities will sit in a group or like a board and plan and make comments and offer suggestions and whatnot to the city of Mount Pleasant's city commission. I'm going to turn this over to Margaret to better probably explain it than I just did.
You did a fine job, Commissioner Horton. So this is something that the partners on the list here, which are the city, the county, Union Township, the Saginaw Chippewa Indian Tribe, and MMDC have been talking about for a number of years. The city manager is on the call in case we have any questions that you would like to ask for her. Ask her directly. This is a wonderful economic incentive and economic development, I think, engine for our community. When you look at the packet and you realize who is using that, over 552 jet and corporate aircraft utilized that airport in 2019. The list of those corporations, and it's not a complete list by any means, but Bandit, Central Michigan, Copper Estates, Delafield, Harley Davidson, Menards, Michigan Department of Natural Resources, Michigan State Police, Morbark, the National Football League coming in to do scouting, Summit Petroleum, Unified Brands, the military, and Walmart. Obviously, I think that I made this comment in the Finance Committee that I think for a long time, airports and communities this big are kind of always thought to be recreational based, and that probably is how this airport was for decades. But now it's a really important part of the economy here. One of the other major users of the airport that wasn't listed here is the tribe, bringing talent in and out. And I think those are also very important economic engines for our community. So like I said in my staff report, this is an opportunity for the county again to be at the table with these community-wide discussions. It has been a real pleasure working with the city manager, the Union Township manager, the tribal council, public relations staff, MMDC, and I'm thinking I'm forgetting somebody. But it's been a great discussion. It's been ongoing on and off for 5 years. So we finally got to the point where we're taking it across the finish line. And we do have money available in the budget line item that's listed under financial impact. We have $178,638 in that line item for 2021. I can assure you that we can certainly have $5,000 in that. I think the important thing here is to have us at the table and participating and being a member. So I'm very happy to bring this to you and very strongly recommend that the board enter into this agreement with the other members.
Commissioner Rado.
Yeah, I'm very glad to hear about this too. I've always been interested in the airport ever since I was a city commissioner, and actually most airports, a lot of airports in Michigan are county airports. I'm glad that the county's getting involved, and it's a very hopeful thing. It's good to hear.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jelasinski.
I have several questions and I can I can space them out so other people can talk too, but I'm just wondering, I was looking at the agreement and I see there's different dollar amounts. 10,000 for Union Township, 5,000 for the county, and the city is holding the biggest portion of the cost of the operating the airport. But how were those figures determined?
Parties met and discussed those figures. You know, when we looked at these figures, we started this discussion, as I said, over 5 years ago. We're looking at what we thought were reasonable expectations from each one of the members. I felt $5,000 was probably as much as we wanted to do, at least to start with. So it won't be coming back to any future boards for a length of time. So it was just something in the discussions between all the members.
Margaret, isn't that the amount? I know for some reason it's sticking in my head. That's the amount that we're into it with MMDC, and I think Union Township pays 10,000 MM. Is that kind of mirror in those amounts too? Doesn't the county go $5,000 to MMDC or no?
No, we go $22,500.
Shows you what I think of. Okay, sorry.
It's
Didn't mean
okay.
to jump
Good
in there.
question.
Sorry. Jerry, you had a couple questions you said?
I'll let Frank go and then I'll come back.
Okay, Commissioner Engler.
Yeah, just a quick comment. We've used the airport a couple times, something that has not been mentioned for crop dusters. We've loaded up wheat seed there before and had to use some the airport to do some spraying sometimes, a lot of times emergency spraying, but there are some other small airports around, but that has a bigger facility if you got to get a lot of acres sprayed. So sometimes that helps being there. So just a comment.
That's interesting. Thank you, Commissioner.
Jerry, Town Commissioner Jazinski.
Thank you. I see that legal counsel has reviewed the agreement and it's comfortable with it, but has that also been submitted to the MMRMA for review? Because I'm thinking with a lot of counties being involved with airport operations, they may have some liability insights into such agreements.
I think the discussion that the group had, Commissioner, was that the liability is going to rest with the city. We don't have any financial liability as far as employees or accidents or those types of things. No, I have sent it to MMRMA. We sent it to our legal counsel at Coastal Kurtowski, and they did not come back with that recommendation. So no on that.
Okay. I do notice too that it looks like it's a perpetual term, the agreement. A party can leave the agreement if they by July, and they still have the obligation to support the budget. I don't know what the fiscal year is for this board, or it probably coincides with the fiscal year for the city. And then I don't know what the city's fiscal year compares with the county, but I know the board is going to be making the recommendations on budget. I don't know if there's a area to be even concerned that maybe a budget is recommended, approved by the city before the county can react to, let's say, an increase in the costs to the county without having an obligation or not being able to withdraw from the agreement if it shouldn't wish to increase its contribution.
I believe the city's fiscal year is July to June. Is that correct, Ms. Ridley?
Actually, we're on a calendar year basis.
Okay,
So that's why the July date was chosen, because that gives us adequate time to know before we set our budget for the following year.
So then that will provide enough time for each of the partners if they decide that they would wish to leave without having occurring additional obligation. Is that correct? By that July date?
That is correct.
For the county? Okay. Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Absolutely, sir.
Any other commissioners? I just like to add too that I know in our county, in our Finance and Administration Committee, I did ask Ms. Ridley in regards to what the cost of the city is as far as supporting their end of the airport. I believe she said it was like around $80,000 a year in supplemental dollars. Again, I kind of weigh that, not wanting to get the right now getting the county involved too heavily into it. But again, we're into it for $5,000. And what are we going to get for that $5,000? Well, you look at the four entities involved, especially with the tribe and the city and the township and even MMDC. Again, I don't see a whole lot wrong that's going to come out of meeting with that. And if we can do anything to improve the airport or improve localities or improve operations, again, though, it's just, it's something we have to be aware of, and I think it's a good thing, but, that's kind of where I'm leaning on it. So Commissioner Jazinski.
Just another closing statement. It'd be nice if before we get to July, let's say one of our June board meetings, they actually have the board come before the county board to give a report on what's been accomplished during that previous year, just to keep us informed, to know that we are getting, the airport is benefiting from the agreement and the county is getting a return for its investment.
I'd probably be fine. County is going to be appointing somebody. Is that correct? Margaret, I think the county will be appointing someone, and and then that board reports to the Public Works of the city? I think that's who manages their airport, is the Public Works department. So somebody like that, I don't know if the whole board wants to come. I guess we can work that out in the details in regards to that. So any other, Jerry, was that it?
Well, that's fine for right now. Yep.
Okay. All right. Any other commissioners? Commissioner Chairman Green, did you have your hand up earlier? I thought you did, maybe not.
Yeah, just a question on it. Maybe, do the tenants that are out there now, if you know, do they pay, Margaret? Or I know that, say Pat Jarman, for example, I know Pat, he's built his own place for his aircraft out there, and a very nice place. And that does he pay rent? Or I was going through the budget here on how it actually creates the $8 million of revenue in this county. Of course, the tribe would do that with bringing in people, that they're going to have perform out there. But I just wondered if the tenants that were out there at the airport, I know they buy gasoline or diesel fuel or aircraft fuel or whatever it is and pay for that, but do they rent places? I know I used to sit on that a little bit over there at the city when they had it.
I don't know. I would ask Miss Ridley, could you answer that question, please?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. We actually have two kinds of leases at the airport. One is to rent hangars that the city owns, and we just rent out the hangar space, and they pay a monthly fee for that. And we also have land leases, which I believe is what Mr. Jarman has, where we've leased the land to him and he builds his own facility, but he pays an annual lease for the use of the land.
Gotcha. Hi, Nancy.
Hello.
Thank you.
All right. Any other fellow commissioners have anything else to add? All right. Hearing and seeing none, that will move forward to this evening. And I've lost my paperwork there. So I believe that's the last item on our agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on to Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee. Gentlemen.
First order of business is consider approving the RAVE mobile safety licenses and services order form for the time period of January 1, 2021 through December 31st, 2024 in the amount of $41,200 and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Mark is here, so I'm going to just turn that over to Mark.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Okay. I can't tell, I'm having some internet problems here. I'm coming to you from the 911 center in my office. This is the RAVE product. It has two parts to it. The Smart 911 for the public to have their personal profiles, and when they call, that will load up on it. And then the ability for the RAVE alert system, which will be a replacement for the Code Red system. It'll save us about $24,000 a year per year in our contract. It has the same capabilities as the Code Red and actually a couple extra expanded ones. We've kept an eye on this. Central Michigan University currently is using this. I believe Lieutenant Wassman is available on the line for questions, as well as Sheriff Maine, as we've researched this particular platform to try and save money and also increase options for the public.
I like the idea that you're saving that amount of money. It goes from 32,500 to down to 12,400 a year in terms of cost for a much improved product.
Absolutely.
Are there questions from anyone? Not hearing any. We'll move this forward then.
Got two.
Yes.
Mr. Swaney's got a question, Jerry.
I was just curious to how the migration will work for people on Code Red to the new Rave 911.
Excellent question. So we're going to have Code Red because we're in our last year of our contract for this 12 months. So we're not going to lose emergency notification capability. This will start up in January, and we will have that free for the whole year and not paying the extra $8,000 for it. We're just paying for the Smart 911 portion as we go forward. So we'll have that entire year to educate the public on moving over and how to do that in the profiles and enhancing other parts. At the same time, all of our current users, like our fire departments and other entities that use it on a regular basis to call staff and alert them and have them respond to different things, will be moved over during this year and trained on it. So it's going to be a phased approach, and we'll have a nice 12 months to make it happen. And again, they're not charging us for this first initial 12 months of the actual alert product that's the Code Red replacement.
Thank you.
So then, Mark, what you're saying is this information needs to be put back into the system because there's not going to be an automatic carryover, so that the people that are currently in Code Red that signed up for it will need to physically register for the new program.
That's correct. And the new program will also help us keep the database up to date by sending out regular reminders to confirm that your phone number is current. Because we do have a lot of people that come here and then leave our community. We have a lot of old phone numbers in our Code Red system that we couldn't quite clean out. So this is going to make it a lot better and more accurate, which saves us time when we do emergency notifications to the public.
Any other questions? We'll move this on to tonight's meeting then.
Thank you.
I'll let you take the last one, Frank. I'll take the first two. The second item of business is consider approving the Isabella County Computer Aided Dispatch software upgrade proposal from Central Square Technologies in the amount of $74,409.85 for Isabella County Central Dispatch.
Excellent.
Upgrade and another savings. Tell us about it, Mark.
Thank you, sir. So again, this will be an upgrade. Our current CAD system software is no longer going to be developed any further. We've had tickets that are 4 years old on it that have not been addressed at this point. So knowing that that's kind of where we're going to stay and be stagnant with that, the new owner of the company and the vendor has a product that's the upgrade replacement. It's going to have a whole bunch more features for us that will make delivery of services to both the public and public safety better. Currently, we have to take a USB thumb drive and touch every single cop car when we do updates, which takes a person to crawl into the cop cars, upload them, wait in time. All of this will be over the air right into a server base that's up to date for all the people who need to use it. It's going to save a significant discount as we go forward overall in the years of cost. Our current system keeps going up every 5%. Every year, and will continue so until people get off of it. And so at this point, we have reviewed this, kept an eye on it. The sheriff, again, who is one of our partners in investigating technological things and also a user of the system, and Lieutenant Cameron Wassman, who also has a computer-aided dispatch over at Central Michigan University that is our backup system, and both had a chance to review it. We've also talked with our IT providers and solution experts, NetSource One and Michelle from the county. So everybody's on board with where we're at, had a chance to kind of weigh in on this thing, and definitely recommend it for the savings that we're getting overall.
So In your narrative, you indicate there's additional 11,000 in total maintenance costs. Is that because it's making the system easier to upgrade without having a lot of upgrades directly done at vehicles?
Yeah, and that's actually 11,000 additional savings, not expense. So yes, that's part of the whole deal and the discount that will come in. The company's offering a current customer discount of about 12,735 over the next 5 years, each year as that comes in, and the discount for the county 63,675 in addition to that 11,000 that you just brought up, sir.
Any questions for Mark?
I like the savings.
Yeah. Mark,
300,000 to 74,000.
well, we'll move this on then to the regular meeting tonight, but I do want to thank Mark. It looks like he's already brought 2 excellent Christmas gifts to the county and to its residents. These 2 proposals. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the last one we have is consider adopting resolution number 20-12-02, the Edward T. Pappas and Mary E. Pappas Farm Agreement partial termination, and instruct the Isabella County Clerk to forward the approved application to the MDA Farmland and Open Space Program. This is a partial termination of 1 acre. It looked like they kind of squared it up a little bit. So with the buildings, seems to meet all the requirements. So it's pretty simple agreement. So I will take any questions. Okay, we've seen these before, so seeing none, we'll move this forward to tonight.
Mr. Chairman, that completes the work of the Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee.
Thank you, gentlemen. Item C then, Human Resource and Public Works Committee, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have one item, and it is consider approving the primary grant request for the Saginaw Bay Watershed Initiative for the funds from Watershed Initiative Network WIN in the amount of $14,000 for the Deerfield Nature Park Chippewa Water Restoration Project, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Has to do with erosion, and we have Sue, our director, Sue Ann Kaufmeyer of Parks and Recs, to talk to us about this. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Good evening. I can't believe this is my last meeting with you, George. Oops, he left already, so. Anyways, this is a project that we had applied for 2% funds with, and also the CVB. And we received funds from both the, with the 2% funds, we received $25,000. CVB gave us $12,000, and now we're trying to apply for an additional $14,000 from the Saginaw Bay WIN, as it states in my report. As you know, with all the water that we've had over the years, we've had some erosion issues along the river. We have about 2 miles worth of river in Deerfield Park alone. And we have a pretty bad area over by the Swingy Bridge on the north side, and we need that to be repaired. And we're going to build another landing there. It seems to be a popular area. There people like to go in, and it's eroded since it's not a designated landing. So we don't have the proper infrastructure in there to, hold in the banks. So this is something that we're excited about to, gather some funding for, and the WIN is just our last attempt to help fund this project. I don't know if there's any questions or if I can go in further detail, but I did note in my report that the Saginaw Bay WIN, they helped with our boat launch project as well out at Coldwater Park. And, since we are part of the watershed, they are very supportive of projects in Isabella County as well. So this is a requirement for this request is to have approval by the governing board and its chair to move this project or move this request ahead.
Anybody have any questions or further comments? Jerry, Commissioner Jaruzelski.
Not about the project. I need to convey something from Fremont Township to Sue Ann. Thank you for allowing the township to participate in the 5-year plan. I don't know if you looked at the announcement for the Passport Recreation Grant Program, but the township did get $83,500. So that would not have been
Good.
possible without the support of your commission. Thank you.
Good news. No, I didn't hear that. So good. Good.
With that, that concludes the work of the Public Works and Human Resources Committee, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, just a question for Sue Ann. Sue Ann, I don't know if you know this.
Oh, sorry.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mr. passed away.
I do know that. But it's
I was
a
wondering if we
sad
should-
day in our county, yeah.
Yeah, send some condolences just for what he's done for the county and leasing us that 160 acres up there. Where's in the Sunday paper.
Yep, you bet. I just became aware of it too.
I'm sorry, Sue-Ann, could you get with me on that and we'll get together and send out something on behalf of the Board of Commissioners and
Okay,
the Parks and Recreation Board?
sure.
Thank you.
Before I go though, George, I just want to thank you for all your years of service. It wouldn't be the same without your support for the parks in my 20 years here. So I'll miss you.
One of the best things that Isabella County has, 1,000 acres of parks, and it's,
Yeah.
well,
No kidding.
managed very well. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Okay, with all that, that completes the work of the Human Resources and Public Works Committee, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good job. We have no intergovernmental affairs. Brings us down to item E, Administrator Controller issues. Consider adopting the Isabella County Board of Commissioners Resolution number 20-1203, local state of emergency extension, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. We did this, when, Margaret, in April?
Well, we did it in March and then we extended it.
that's right.
We're to the point now that it's recommended by our legal firm that we extend this. I know Mac has had some discussions about that. We've put together this resolution. It'll do a couple things. Obviously, the emergency is not over. It's obviously far from over, and it's going to continue on for a number of months. And so I think it's just a good judgment on behalf of the board to continue the local state of emergency extension. It also will take any consideration regarding having electronic board meetings. There won't be any issues with that moving forward into the first of the year. I mean, we all, I'm sure, have watched the news the last couple of days, and it's wonderful to see those airplanes and trucks and everything rolling with vaccine in it and all the coverage with all the medical workers, well-deserved being the first to receive the vaccine. But I think we all know, following the news, it's going to take months for it to get to the vast majority of our population in the country. And so really, this is just one of those activities and action on behalf of the board that just leaves our options open to us and protects the county, and also allows us that if funding should become available, we can say, yes, we are under a current state of emergency.
Any questions? We will bring that forward this evening then.
Thank you.
That moves on. There's no unfinished business. Under new business, item A is the Commissioners Organizational Meeting discussion. Margaret, do you have a time and date?
Well, I believe, I'm sorry, I think that it is January, we're looking at, it's always the first Tuesday in January, so I believe that is January 5th. I know that off the top of my head because it's my nephew's birthday, so it's an important day in our family. So January 5th at 7 p.m. Recommend. That's the tradition since I've been here. It's always the first Tuesday in January. So January 5th, 2021 at 7 p.m. is what I would recommend.
Okey-dokey. And you want that date put on the evening agenda?
Yes, it's ours at the 7 o'clock.
Donner, I
Yes.
see it.
And just remember, the only action items at that meeting are for organizational purposes.
Any discussion on that? That'll go to this evening meeting.
Yes.
We'll finish the agenda and then move back to the closed session. That brings us down now, Nicole, to general public comment. Is anybody waiting for?
We have no general public comment at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. That brings us to announcements. Are there any announcements? Geez, you guys are good tonight. No announcements. It moves us back to the closed session. I need a motion to go in. Excuse me, before we do that, did everybody get Nicole's information on going in and out of the closed session? Good. So I need a motion to go into closed session.
Can I just say something first, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman?
just a minute. Margaret would like to say something.
If I may just say something first. I think we're going to have one closed session, obviously. Ms. Curtis is here on behalf of the courts to go into a closed session regarding collective bargaining agreements with the courts. I would also like to have invited to the closed session Sheriff Maine, so that we can discuss the collective bargaining strategy for the departments, the divisions in his department or in his office, pardon me. Take the courts first, then Ms. Curtis could leave, obviously, and not have to hang around for everything. If that's acceptable to the Board of Commissioners, and Ms. Curtis and Sheriff Maine into the closed session.
That's fine with the chair.
Thank you, sir.
They both have interest in this and negotiations, so.
Thank you.
Now I need a motion to go into closed session.
So move, Jelazinski.
Support Marino.
Been moved and supported to go into closed session. Madam Clerk, a roll call, please.
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Engler,
Yes.
Commissioner Jelzinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Horton,
Yes.
Commissioner Marino,
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeney,
Yes.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Number of votes cast is 7. The ayes received 7, nays received 0. Motion passed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Now we got to follow the rules.
The hard thing to do.
I will sign off, everyone. I just wanted to wish you well, Chairman Green. It's been great working with you for the last few years, but I know you got to get into your meeting, but I'll let you go. But it's been wonderful. I'm sure I'll see you around.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay.
Good to have you on board. You do a great job.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. The host is inviting you to join the breakout room once. So do we join that, Margaret?
Yes, we're going to have you join that, sir. There you go.
Motion adjourned, gentlemen.
So, motion to adjourn, Orton.
Support, Marino.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
See everyone at 7.
Yep.
7.
See you at 7, folks.
I had to bring that update and you guys could decide what you want. I don't have any problem with what you decided. I just wanted to